So my mum died in August 2020. I think it was sort of 3 or so months after she died, I started really feeling like the impact of grief. Grief is inevitable and everyone's going to experience it at some point in their life. But I think as a nation we really struggle to talk about it. This is why Sue Ryder's Grief Kind campaign really spoke to me, because what they're trying to do is encourage people to treat grief with kindness, essentially, to help people feel less isolated in their grief. The garden's been inspired by Sue Ryder's Grief Kind campaign and its Grief Kind spaces. The idea is that it's a safe and peaceful sanctuary that you can sit, you're surrounded, you're enveloped by plants, and somewhere that if you want to talk to someone, you feel safe and secure to speak to someone, and if you want some quiet reflection, then the garden provides you to do that. During the show week, we're going to have a table and chairs in the heart of the garden, and on the table we're going to have objects that represent those who some of us have lost. So what we really want it to do is look like that there could be one of these Grief Kind sessions in progress. So for me, I will have probably some secateurs on the table, which to me represent Mum. We're going to ask some of our volunteers who are supporting the garden during show week to bring something that represents a person they've lost, if they're comfortable to do so, because what we're really hoping is it helps spark conversations with the public and to potentially help some people open up or signpost people to the support services that are freely available to them.
We arrived at the hospice in the afternoon and she was put straight into a very comfortable bed in a very bright room that didn't look like a hospital room, and one of the first things they did was open up the double doors and push her outside into the garden. She loved being outside in the sun. It's peaceful, you can hear the birds, you can see the bees. It was just lovely. And it sounds conflicting to say it was lovely, but as far as that experience goes, it was as positive as it could be. I hope that the Grief Kind Garden can promote positivity around talking about grief. Grief isn't a positive thing, but talking about it is. Talking about the people that we miss is really important, and I think a prompt, any prompt is great, and a prompt in the shape of a garden is even better, because you can sit and you can be really present and you have to talk about it then. And once the grief conversation starts, I think it's a really difficult one to stop, you know, especially when you're talking to someone who can relate to you, because you talk about the people that you miss, you talk about the lives that you're living without them, or the lives that you were so pleased to have with them before, and they would love to see those conversations. I think I can imagine like my mum looking down on me having these conversations now and think, like, yeah, you can go you, I'm really proud of you.
What I've really tried to do is make sure there's plants that give you something all year round, because you know, grief is every single day of the year, and I want people to be able to connect to the space every single day of the year. So there are plants in there for winter interest. I've got a mahonia, it's got really soft leaves and a lovely winter fragrance, and then there's some of the plants will be left for their structure throughout the winter. So grasses generally give gardens great structure, and seed heads can be left until the end of winter. After the show, the garden's being relocated to Sue Ryder St John's Hospice in Bedford, and one of the lasting legacies of this garden is that it's going to be a dedicated space for the community to benefit from, where they can go and grieve or reflect on someone they've lost. And also we hope that it does start more open conversations nationally around grief to help people throughout the UK access the bereavement support they need for themselves, or to help them support others who are bereaved.